anytime that you feel anxiety, suffering, any of that, it is a signal to change direction. It is a signal to reroute. You need to think to yourself, anxiety isn't your enemy, it's a signal. And today I'm gonna show you how to decode it, how to use it, and how to get rid of it. A year ago, I was on my apartment floor crying, having panic and anxiety attacks, and now I run my own business and I want to help you take back control of your life and your nervous system. Anxiety evolved from a survival mechanism to help us avoid threats. So think like back in hunter-gatherer days. Anxiety or panic would strike when some big animal came and you thought it was going to eat you, or a bear was chasing you in the forest, and so your fight or flight would kick in and it's like, let me get out of here, I'm in danger, let me run away. So let's take that and bring it into modern times. Our fight or flight, a lot of it is triggered by things like people at work, deadlines, or even things like fear of failure. Because you're running away, you perceive those as dangerous threats. If I fail, what's going to happen? If I go to work and have to deal with this coworker, are they going to be mean to me today? Do I have to deal with stress that I shouldn't have to deal with? Studies show that anxiety activates your amygdala, which is the thing in the brain responsible for creating that fight or flight type of response. And anxiety will trigger that fight or flight response even if no actual danger is imminent or present. Anxiety typically is triggered or comes up when there's something you need to accomplish, but you don't have the time, resources, energy, or anything like that to accomplish it. And so it triggers that fight or flight response because you're like, I have to get this done. What happens if I don't get this done? Then this is going to happen. And that is a threat. So that's where your anxiety comes. That's where panic attacks come from. Even small things like being trapped in a small room. In your brain, you might be like, well, what's gonna happen if I'm trapped in a small room? What if a fire starts and none of us can get out? Or what if like some dangerous thing happens? Your life is in danger. That's what's triggering your anxiety. And a lot of that starts from your beliefs. What are your beliefs? A lot of the times we have a lot of limiting beliefs. Unfortunately, we are programmed to think more negatively or in survival mode than positively. We're thinking, how can we protect ourselves? Or we're thinking, what can I be better at? And so a lot of our thoughts throughout the day are very negative. You create what you speak. Words create energetic contracts, vibrational contracts. So you come into agreement with what you are saying. And I had to learn this a very, very hard way. So if you're always saying like, I'm anxious, like me, I have ADHD. I have diagnosed anxiety. I can show you my medication bottles. They're right over there. But if I continuously say to myself, well, I have anxiety and I have this, no, you will continue to have anxiety. But instead try saying, I'm learning how to be calmer, or I'm working on learning how to be calmer. I'm currently working on finding peace in my anxious moments, things like that. A lot of the times you feel anxiety when it comes to relationships, right? Anxious attachment style. You have a lot of different attachment styles out there. I am a recovering anxiously attached woman. And with an anxious attachment style, normally what ends up happening is your fight or flight kicks on because you're like, oh, well, my partner's not texting me back. So what does that mean? Maybe they're out with some other woman. And what does that mean for me? Danger, danger, danger. Somebody is going to ruin my relationship, or X, Y, and Z. Your brain is kicking in, but none of these threats are actually there. And so you're trying to protect yourself from something that has not even happened. But in the process of that, you're damaging your relationship because you're showing a lack of trust, a lack of empathy for your partner, a lack of communication skills when it comes to communicating with your partner. When a lot of things are spiraling, when you feel like you're not where you're supposed to be in life, what you need to remember is the future and the past are in this present moment. Your past is now. Your future is now. When you're worried about the future, realize that is the moment you are living in, and you will never get where you want to go if you can't be in the moment and you keep letting your anxiety take over you. Again, anxiety is a misalignment with the present moment. So the idea of quantum physics or speaking things into existence is all different types of possibilities exist simultaneously. It's almost like the multiverse. And when you focus on fear, when you focus on anxiety, because that's what you're consistently thinking of, especially if you're like me, and again, I have OCD, diagnosed OCD, so my anxious thoughts is my OCD. Can you imagine? But if I'm consistently verbalizing that, I'm gonna call it in. You need to start shifting your focus. Instead of saying, I'm anxious, say I'm working on learning how to be calm. You know, I'm a failure, or I'm overcoming obstacles currently in my life. Anxiety comes from chasing something that seems unattainable a lot of the times, whether that's peace, happiness, love, money, relationships, a car, finishing deadlines, anything like that. But the thing is, when you chase something from a point of, I need this because if I don't get this, then I'm gonna, my life is gonna suck and world is gonna fall on top of me and just all these things. No. If you are trying to get something from a state of lack, it's gonna run from you. What you're doing is you're reinforcing the idea that what you want is actually unattainable. Instead of receiving it from a place of, I would love to do this. How can I use this to serve people today? Or how can I show up in this way that serves my heart and my passion? Because the money, everything else will come as a byproduct of me fully putting myself into this. Because if I'm showing up half-assed, people will feel that, I will feel that, God, the universe will feel that, and it won't be honored. So like constantly worrying about money makes it harder to attract. When I was not worried about money in high school and early college, I had so much money. One day I needed to move into an apartment. My mom was like, we don't know where we're gonna get the money from. And I said, oh, don't worry, it'll come from nowhere. The next day, $10,000 randomly was given to me from Instagram. I didn't even know they were doing that. I had maybe 100 followers at the time. Whoa, mind blown, because my account just got hacked the month before. So I had 100 followers at the time. And then I got $10,000 from an Instagram bonus. Boom, paid my deposit, everything for my apartment because I trusted it. But the second that I got into the world, started getting anxious, allowing different things to come in my head, started worrying about money like I was taught to do because it wasn't my instinct to worry. All of a sudden, when I needed it, it was nowhere to be found. You need to reframe lack. You need to trust that abundance will make its way to the people that are open to it, the people who release fear and control. And I know that sounds like completely the opposite of what you want to do right now, but that's where you need to start to see a difference in your life. I want you to think about the parable of the 3 servants. Basically, if you're unaware, what happens is there is a man with some workers and he's going on a trip. And so he gave him some money to have while he was gone. He gave 5 bags of silver to one man. He gave 2 bags of silver to the other. And then he gave 1 bag to the last man. And he divided it based off of their abilities. While he was gone, the first man who had the 5 bags decided to invest his money, right? Invest it, recoup it. And when the boss returned from his trip, he's like, hey, you gave me 5 bags of silver. I invested it and I earned 5 more. And the boss, he was so excited. He was like, good job, my faithful servant. You've done well. The second man, he had 2 bags of silver. He invested it and he earned 2 more bags and he got the pat on the back too. Now the last man who had the 1 bag, he dug a hole into the ground and saved it. This man told the boss, he's like, hey, I know you have a lot going on. I was scared I was gonna lose your money, so I buried it, so nothing's happened to it. This man got everything laid into him. The boss literally told him, you wicked and lazy servant. He's like, you know I've done all this work to earn this money, so why didn't you take it to the bank so I could at least earn some interest on it? He told his people to take that 1 bag of silver away from that guy and give it to the man who had 5 bags initially and turned it into 10. So now he has 11. So again, when it comes to money, when it comes to things in general, if you are scared to give out, you will never receive. If you are scared to love, you will never receive love. If you are scared to be a friend because you've been burned by women in the past, you will never receive your soul sisters. If you're afraid to make that business leap, you're afraid to do that business, you will never reap the benefits of making that money from the business. But the thing is, your anxiety is gonna tell you, save the money, keep the money. Oh no, I need to stay small, or oh no, I don't want to confront this person because of this. No. Don't listen to it. Do the complete opposite. Go for it. Energetic frequencies is so real. A scarcity mindset emits a very, very low vibration, which repels abundance. But if you shift to a higher frequency and practice gratitude and trust, you will start to attract what you desire, period. In order to be at peace and to feel light, you need to embrace the light. And once you can embrace the light, you will become the light. Anxiety thrives in darkness. God, the universe, I believe in Jesus Christ, but whatever you want to call it, God embodies peace, joy, love, patience, kindness, and even better, self-control, which also includes over your emotions. So in Christianity, we call these the fruits of the Spirit, but you can, even if you're not Christian, these things in life are what 99.9% of people are striving to experience during their time here on earth. If you want abundance, if you want to be abundant like God, experience His love, you need to walk in His light first. Even if you don't feel peace, in those moments where you're not feeling peace, you need to take a second and be like, whoa, let me check in. How can I calm myself down right now? Let me experience something different in this moment. Or when you're feeling anger, you're like, nope, I'm going to choose to forgive. I'm going to choose to try to see this from this. Even if you don't see it from their point of view, you can be like, you know what? I'm not going to lash out on you. I'm just going to say, I don't agree with you. I love you. I will help you in any way that I can, but not this way. When you choose to live through these fruits, your life begins to reflect harmony and balance. When that happens, anxiety no longer has a seat at the table, like quite literally gets pushed out. When your initial reaction is frustration, like you're in your car, someone cuts you off and you want to flip them the bird, Give it a second. Be like, you know what? Maybe they have to go to the hospital because like someone's in labor or something like that, or somebody's in trouble. Think to yourself, everything happens to me for a reason. This will help give you control. And you're like, well, Kaylee, something bad happens to me for a reason? Everything happens for a reason, and be thankful for everything that happens. Everything that happens. And once you start doing this again, you will start seeing things less as dangers, but more as lessons, more as, oh, thank God that happened, because now I know what to do. Say, you know what? Thank you for cutting me off in traffic. Thank you so much. You have now taught me how to be even more patient. You just taught me how to slow down in the moment. You just taught me how to not react out of anger. Thank you for that, because now I can take that skill and apply it to my business. Now I can take that skill and apply it to the thing I was nervous about or anxious about, and that's going to propel me forward. So thank you for cutting me off in traffic. Also, when you're feeling fear, choose faith. When you're scared to start that business, when you're scared to have that conversation, choose faith. Maybe that conversation will get you out of the relationship, but also maybe getting you out of the relationship is the thing you needed to meet your husband. These conscious choices align yourself with the light. You need to just trust that everything good is already available to you. If you have the desire, it is meant for you. Trust it. It's only up to us how long it takes to receive that desire. God wants to give you everything that is good, pure, and holy, but the thing is, it is up to us if we actually get that or not. If you keep ignoring God's divine instruction and being like, oh, I was told to start this business, but da-da-da-da-da-da-da, or I can't do this, or this is why I can't do this, blah, 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 blah. If you keep ignoring that, it is going to delay everything that you want in life. So when hard things come up, when hard times come up, instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this teaching me? And know that when it feels hard, a breakthrough is on the other end. And I know people say that all the time, but I need you to hear me if you haven't listened to anyone else. A breakthrough is on the other side. Your job is to get to the other side. That is our job on this earth, is how do we cross over that bridge to get into divine connection with God. God wants to give us everything good. Living through light, living through his light will allow you to align on the path of peace and joy, which is what we want. And being able to do that immediately elevates your vibration, and that will attract those positive outcomes. God will send you those positive outcomes because he's like, yes, you're listening to me. Quantum physics is his gift to us. It is the idea that what you focus on expands. So focus on light and joy. And a lot of these times when you start doing this, you might feel judgment from other people. People might be like, well, why is this person acting differently and da 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 da. What you need to know is people will receive the same judgment at which they have judged. So if they are judging you, they will be judged too. And another thing that I would like you to think about is when you feel judged, it's often a reflection of your self-criticism, and it's also a reflection on how you judge others. So if you're feeling judged about something, maybe look inside. Have you judged someone for that? That's it coming around for you to feel judged. And also, if you haven't, then maybe you've judged yourself for that. So again, you are now actually receiving that judgment from somebody else because you have now judged yourself and you are being held to that. And so now you are going to be judged at the same rate of which you judged yourself. God does not play about his children, even if it's against yourself. Being in alignment, being authentic is the best way to not feel anxiety. So try not to judge yourself. Anxiety, like 90% of the time, is a byproduct of not being in alignment with your true self. You want to say something you don't because why? You're scared of the danger that it could lead to. Or you want to go chase this, but you're not because, oh, this won't work out. And what's happening is you're no longer in alignment with your authentic self. You're not in alignment with your authentic wants, desires, passions. And a lot of the times what ends up happening when you want to do something but you're not sure and the anxiety starts, you start seeking approval from others. So you might have a business idea and you want to take it to your mom and you want to say, Mom, look at this business idea. I want to do this, da 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 da. Then all of a sudden she says, finish school first. Or she says, no, you need to get a job. Or you even go to your partner and you say, hey babe, you know what? There's something I really want to do and blah, 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 blah. And he says, well, you can't do that because we have to pay the bills. You are now seeking other people's approval. So you are no longer in alignment with your soul. You are no longer in alignment with the divine instructor. So you will always feel some type of anxiety because you're trying to seek approval from the person that doesn't even have the idea. You're trying to seek approval from a person who can't even see the vision. That's not going to work. And what's going to happen is they're going to reaffirm your doubts. And so the anxiety is going to continue instead of listening to God. When you look for validation through others, you start to adopt their limiting beliefs. And what did we say earlier? What you say will come to pass. Try not to do that. Start learning to trust yourself, trust your soul, trust your intuition, okay? This will create so much peace in your mind. I need you to know suffering is not normal, okay? It should not be made the norm. It should be an exception. Anytime that you feel anxiety, suffering, any of that, it is a signal to change direction. It is a signal to reroute. So if you do have anxiety that comes up when you are doing something, you need to think to yourself, what am I out of alignment with? What did I not listen to? Where did I go astray? Because I know I should not hate my job. I know I should not hate going to the place that makes it possible for me to put food on my table. So you need to start thinking to yourself, where should I shift? Use discomfort as a guidepost to help you realign. The quantum field responds very well to authenticity, and it will mirror back clarity and freedom, and that is what we're after. I want you to work on shifting your focus to gratitude instead of stress and instead of lack, okay? Because when you do that, you change your mind from a scarcity to an abundance mindset, which means you're abundant, already in love. You already are love, okay? You already are wealth. You are wealth, okay? You are peace. You are kindness, you are love. When you can start to do that, when you can start to feel gratitude for these things, you know what? I am sad, but I'm also a good person. So I'm going to focus on the fact that I'm a good person and really dive into that side of myself. Even in the chaos, try to find one thing to appreciate. Gratitude opens the door for more blessings insanely. There is research from UCLA that shows practicing gratitude rewires your brain for positivity. What happens when we think a positive thought? We experience a positive life. You can start saying, I am grateful for peace in my life. I am grateful to have a roof over my head. I am grateful to have food on my table. The small things that we take for granted become very, very thankful for. Because what I've also known is your circumstances, the worse they are, that just shows you are meant for something great. The harder things are, the better your blessing is. I promise you, I promise you, I promise you. It has never come back void that way. The harder things are for you, the better things are going to get for you. If you can go over that bridge and get to the other side, which again, where it falls on us to make the decisions to get to that side. I want you to remember, anxiety stems from feeling like there's not enough time or resources, but you need to remember, you are time. You are the resource. Anything that you lose was never meant for you, whether it's people, money. Not all money is good money, and I had to learn that too, even if it's from a job that's stable. What if you hate your boss? What if all these things happen? And what if the money you're getting is keeping you just comfortable enough? It's keeping you away from that multi-six-figure contract. You could be earning so much more. I had to do this. I couldn't get a job. What did that lead me to do? Start my own business. Now, what has happened? I get to work from home every day and make more money than I would have if I stayed at that job. The future is now. The past is now. Your desires are meant for you. Please do not question it. And you need to always remember, anxiety is your teacher. It is not a personality trait. It is not who you are. It is truly a GPS system. The same way love, happiness, patience, all of that is too. When you're with someone and you feel love, you feel even more love than you already do. You're like, oh my goodness, this is a good what? Sign. When you start a business and money comes in, you're like, oh, this is a good product. Let me keep going. But when money doesn't come in, and you're working your butt off and it's just over and over and over and over and over, you're putting so much money into it, nothing's happening, then you have to take a second because your anxiety will start. You'll be like, I'm losing money. Check in. Maybe it's a small change that you need to make and the money will come, but you need to check in. Take a deep breath. Life is good. God, the universe, the light is on your side. And if you are struggling to the point where you don't know what to do, if you feel that your anxiety is just unbearable, start here before you go to medication, okay? Sometimes we do need help. If you notice, hey, the idea of this thing, the idea of getting genuine help for my anxiety calms me down, explore that. Maybe you are at that point. You need that. Explore that. That is allowed. You just need to get to a point where you can have clarity and peace in your mind and you can know what feels like peace so you can go in that direction.